All right, everyone. So we're going to get started today. Thank you again to everyone for joining us here tonight. My name is Kiva Smith, and I'm the support coordinator for the Peer Support Services. Everyone got the lovely email from me about setting yourself up for success at TESU. And we're also going to have a webinar tomorrow for some key tips on writing an MLA format. Today, what I want to start by going over with you guys is just a brief agenda. So we're going to have a brief introduction by myself, and I'm actually going to go over the Peer Support Services program. I'll show you guys our live Moodle page and of course how you can reach out to us. And then after I present to you guys, Yavanka, one of our peer coaches, is going to talk to you all about setting yourself up for success here at TESU. So just a quick overview of the Peer Support Services program. So the Peer Support program is brand new and it was launched in November of 2021. The program is a great opportunity for students to connect with peer tutors and peer coaches, and they're all former or current TESU students. Peer Support Services has a team which consists of a math tutor, an English and writing tutor, a support coordinator, and 3 peer coaches who are available to assist students as they navigate through their TESU journey. The peer support team is here to provide support, guidance, and strategies for overcoming any barriers that you may face as you encounter your college journey. So I want to give you guys a live overview of our peer support Moodle page. If you guys haven't visited this page yet, I encourage you to. There's not just information about there, but there's also interactive portions as well. So when you come onto our peer support page, you see our great welcome. We're giving you another brief overview of the page and kind of 3 ways you can directly access us. So how we work at Peer Support, we like to set up appointments. These appointments can be drop-ins, they can be set times, and there are several ways in which you can set these appointments up. If you want to get to learn the land of our Moodle page and you're not comfortable quite yet, we always tell everyone you can reach us by email. So our email is peersupport@tesu.edu. We can be reached there at any time. Any one of the coaches, myself, or the tutors will respond to you within 24 hours. We have a community forum, which I'm going to scroll down to and show you guys. Within this community forum, you can not only communicate with the coaches, myself, or the tutors, but you can also communicate with your fellow students, ask any questions. As you guys see here, we have them broken down into 3 portions. We have English and writing, we have math, and we have general discussion where you can ask any question. The biggest way in which you guys can reach out to us at TESU is by scheduling an appointment via Smart Thinking. So when you log onto our Moodle page, you come to this page, this portion of our page right here that says schedule an appointment, and you select schedule an appointment. You'll see we have drop-in hours, and we also have pre-scheduled hours. If you have something that you want to address right away, feel free to drop in with any one of the coaches that are available, or even any one of the tutors. If you're the person that needs to have stuff scheduled and you need to be right on time, you want to have a specific time, please feel free to select a pre-scheduled time to meet with one of our coaches. I'm trying to get into here to give you guys a quick preview of everything, but I'm having some issues. There we go. Okay. So when you guys come into Smart Thinking, it's going to look something similar to this, but it will actually have a dashboard breakdown of where you can actually schedule time with our coaches. Again, if this is something like it just gave me a little bit of issues, reach out to us via email and we'll be more than glad to help walk you guys through this process. Okay. And before we break into our presentation with Yavanka, I just want to know if anyone has any questions in regards to how you can reach out to us about our peer support page or about peer support in general. Okay. So I don't see any questions popping up. So our next presentation is going to be presented to you guys by Yavanka. She's one of our peer coaches here. Yavanka is a former student of TESU undergraduate. Good night, Yavanka. How are you?
Make sure I had to take my mute off. Thank you, Kiva, for the overview, and thank you for the introduction. Welcome, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you for taking your time out to attend this webinar. As Kiba said, it will be recorded. We post it up on our Moodle page. I give you the reason to go check out the page at a later time, just in case you missed something. But before I start, I would really encourage you to get a piece of paper and pencil, because no, we're not in class, but it is some nuggets of knowledge I would like for you to, some resources I would like for you to jot down and keep at your disposal. Also, I would like to be, for you to be engaged. You can put your questions or responses or feedback in the chat. Kiba will be monitoring the chat for me. I can stop after, I will pause after each slide to see if you have any questions, any concerns, any comments, or any feedback. This is very important. This is an opportunity for you to get to know us, to understand what we are about, and to understand how the many pathways that we can support you. So we're going to get started. Again, this is routines for remote learning. There are several different pathways to achieving academic success and personal growth. But specifically for tonight, we're going to talk about and discuss healthy ways to make or establish routines that will help you to be beneficial. Okay, next slide. So one of the things I want all of us to do is to find a happy place, because this is really about a mindset, about getting our mind reconditioned for school. Some of us are returning, some of us is our first time, most of us this is a very new experience. So I want you to just take a moment and just center yourself and just, I want to know, how is your day going so far? You can put it in a chat, you can let us know, engage us, let us know, how is your day going? Where's your mindset at right now? If not, think of a happy place or think of something that gives you a sense of calm. So how are you doing? That's a real question. Anybody want to throw something in the chat? Let us know how you're doing. It could be overwhelmed, anxious. Lady, I don't know. How you feeling? Okay. All right. Nicole said, I'm doing okay. Thank you for that. Anybody else? How are you doing? Where are your thoughts at right now? Overwhelmed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you for the authenticity and honesty. Anybody else before we go on? Center yourself and find a place. I know it may sound, what's that got to do with anything? But the mindset, how we condition our thoughts, is very powerful on how we add another layer to our life, meaning school. Most of us work, family, relationships, a whole lot of stuff going on. And we're trying to go back to school. The audacity of us, right? To try to go back to school. So, but it is where you are right now on your path. So we have to make the best of it. So my objective here is to try to give you some tools while you're here at TSU to help you on that journey. All right, next slide. So what are we talking about here? Somebody said overwhelmed, anxious, I don't know. But think about this. Although very exciting, the switch to online education can be very disruptive to your schedule. And it often is, because again, you're adding another layer onto your life, another responsibility, another obligation. This new adjustment requires some getting used to and intentionality on your part. I didn't say intentional, I said intentionality. That means to do it with a purpose, to do it with a goal in mind, to do it critically thinking, to do it while reasoning. That's what intentionality means. There's different ways for it, but in this context, I am using intentionality to put you in a mindset that this process of you going to school has to be done on purpose. So that means there's going to be some planning, there's going to be some adjustment. It has to have some additional effort on your part. Unfortunately, time management is one of the main challenges that online learners must deal with. And this is why the TSU Peer Support Program is so important, because we have our coaches, our math and English tutors. Because it can get overwhelming, because we don't always plan correctly, sometimes we need that additional layer of support. So again, this is the reason why you're here on this webinar, and this is the reason why you keep getting emails from us about, hey, ask us some questions, because we know as former students and current students what it actually takes to be successful. So we're not paid TV people. We're actual students here. Okay. All right. Next slide, please. So what happens when we don't have a routine? We don't have a plan. When you think about routine, don't necessarily think about in a negative context. Think about, again, that intentionality, that I need to have a plan so I do not arrive at a stress point where I can barely handle anything. So what happens? What happens to our body physiologically, mentally? When you devote less time to understanding the class materials, you might have difficulty doing the class assignments later on. If you're not logging in, if you're not answering discussion posts, if you're not intentional about this class that you're taking, it will result in that feeling of helplessness, hopelessness, being overwhelmed, and not being prepared. Okay. You might sacrifice sleep to finish class assignments. As a result, you'll feel tired or get sick, which happens. Anxiety, stomach ache, just headaches. It really happens. Our body has a tendency to turn on itself. Many times, this is the point where students become overwhelmed and experience increased levels of stress. And what happens when we get to that point? We say, the heck with it, I don't want to do this. I'm done. We just totally give up. So what we're encouraging you to do is to seek out help and support. That's what we're encouraging you to do. Next slide. So in the meantime, while you're making that appointment or you're thinking about emailing us or calling us, what are some of the benefits of a routine, of being intentional? It brings a sense of calm. It avoids the friend's anxiety of last minute activities. It creates structure. You can better organize your day when you have a plan. Now, listen, a plan is a guideline. It's a tentative. It's a iterative process. It moves. It's fluid. Things can happen. Emergencies happen. We may say, look, I just can't do this tonight. I'm gonna have to do this later. But have a backup plan. If you're going to postpone your assignment, and you may have to add an extra hour of study or something like that. But have a plan. Even when the plans change, have another plan. It keeps your body healthy. Routines help you sleep better and manage stress, because you're not always at that last minute. You're not always at that hurried. When I was at TSU, I used to do well. I used to have like 6 to 10 or a couple hours in the evening. Now, the older I get, and I take a class Saturday morning, Sunday morning, that's it. I have to do my work in the morning. But again, it depends on your shift, depends on your family, depends on your work schedule. But the idea is to know yourself, when you can study, have a plan, set up a routine. If it's a couple hours a week, put it in your schedule, but we're going to talk about that. Next slide. So before I keep talking, is there anyone else that has a comment or feedback about the importance of having routines and how it correlates with being successful at TESU? We all good? Okay. Creating a routine, what to do to get started. Figure out what your most productive time of the day is, when you're most energized. Then schedule activities around that energy flow. It may sound complicated, but it really isn't. If you're being intentional about it and you're thinking about, listen, I have a class, I have discussion posts due on Wednesday or Saturday, whenever Sunday, whenever it's due. I have another assignment due a couple days later. You might have to schedule it out. There's one thing I noticed about when in school or going back to college. It is a job. It's a job. It really is. Although you're paying for this job, but it's a job. So in saying that, I had to plan, I had to schedule, I had to make some sacrifices, I had to cut back on some things, but I knew it was only for a short period. It wasn't going to be forever, as long as, and I look forward to breaks in between the terms. That was a good thing. See, the postponing gratification. So creating a routine, short-term wise, may sound like or feel overwhelming or feel like you're giving up something, but long-term wise is easier on your body. It helps you to sleep. It helps to calm your nerves because you're planning, and then look forward to that break. That's the thing I always do. When the turn was up and I had that break, I was like, oh my God. So it was time to start again. But those are the rewards. Those are the small wins. Next slide. So what happens? What are some common student activities for online learning? This is just a snapshot. There's more to it. Like I said, there's many pathways, but what are some of the successful routines that we really need to be intentional about? Having a dedicated study or school space. That could be anywhere, but just a place that you set up a schedule, completing your assignments on a regular routine basis. Having time for research in the library, even need to schedule time for that. That's also should be a routine, especially if you have a research class or a class where you have to write a research paper and you need help with we haven't even got to the APA MLA yet. You need help with getting the resources. Utilize that. That's also, you can schedule time for that as well. So remember I said that long-term goal, the long-term goal is at graduation, you see right there at the bottom. But it's those small scheduled plans or routines that lead you to the success at TESU. Next slide. Now, here's some tips I want you to, or suggestions for how to create a routine, little quick snapshots. You can take a picture of this. You can use it. If not, check it out. There's some articles, some feedback from other students, just some positive healthy suggestions, because this is really all about, if we don't have a good mindset, our success is not going to happen. No matter what we're going to do, it's like you're on a treadmill and you're not going anywhere. So the idea is to have a toolbox that has as many tools in it as you can to be successful. So again, take a deep breath and just think about what you can add in your toolbox to help you be successful. A routine. And like I said, there's plenty of pathways to it. There's not one set rule for it. Everybody has a different schedule. But again, the mindset is intentionality. What can I do on purpose where I can be successful? So I'm going to pause. I'm going to see if you want to engage, to see if you have any questions or any feedback or anything that you want to ask. Well, you guys all quiet, huh? Okay. All right. I'll keep going. Okay. So this is about some productivity apps that I were researching. Now, I'll go through, let you hear the slide first. Pay attention. You might be like, well, what does this have to do with anything? We are in a digital age. We are in the age of technology. We are in the age of information. And information is key. And you may say, what does this have to do with a routine? These are apps and tools. Some people are tech savvy. Some people are tech proficient. I'm tech proficient. Okay. I will own that. Okay. I use some of the less complicated apps, but I found these to be very interesting apps. There's 5 ones that she discusses, and they all serve multiple purposes. And I would challenge you to at least try them out to see how they work and how they can be included in that time management and that setting to help you keep routines, that help you to be mindful of your schedules and getting your work done. So I'm going to be quiet. So jot some notes down. I challenge you to at least try one of these apps. Go ahead.
I know that by now you must be very, very tired of hearing about Notion. And to be real, I'm also tired of talking about Notion as well. So like for 3 years, I've only been condensing all of my productivity advice into a few other apps. And I really want to start broadening my scope to other things. So today I have 5 productivity apps that probably you haven't heard about before. And I want to show you the main key features behind each one of them. Okay, and beware, I'm using like a broad term for productivity. I'm not only going to talk about to-do and calendar apps, I also want to mention things like mental health / productivity apps, as well as knowledge building apps. I want to keep this video short and sweet, so it's not too technical, but if you want to really explore a more in-depth analysis of each one of the apps, I always provide a companion link in my Patreon for all videos published on YouTube, so you can check that down below. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started with number 1. So Sorted is a full-fledged productivity app that combines tasks, calendar, events, and notes into one timeline only. This timeline is the core of this app's uniqueness. It's not only a calendar or a to-do list, it's a way to organize tasks, events, and meetings in a structured way, showing you exactly what goes after what. Sorted uses what they call hyperscheduling, which is basically a fancy calendar blocking technique at its core. So you can incorporate tasks, events, and meetings into one timeline only, while also providing that timeline with enough flexibility. That means that if something goes wrong, you can modify the timeline accordingly, and it recalculates the whole thing all over again. Then you're also able to add notes for each one of the specific tasks, like takeaways from meetings or webinars, and everything is very intuitive. So you can select multiple tasks and reschedule them simultaneously, or simply click and drag them to reschedule them to a different day in your calendar. It all feels very satisfying too. So not forget, you can always create subtasks, folders, and different lists. You can also tag your tasks, and to top it all off, add a beautiful widget to your home screen so you can be productive on the go. And auto-scheduling is a particularly good feature because you can even tell the app you want to add buffers between tasks, for instance, and it organizes everything like a personal assistant. It's just that good. Deep Stash is a knowledge building app that allows you to discover and share ideas in a bite-sized format. You basically get these cards in your feed that are ideas, quotes, or knowledge bits from books, articles, or other types of media. Each idea connects to other ideas, much like a knowledge tree, and you're able to save them to your own library. Each card is short and stands on its own, so you do get a lot of value from swiping through Deep Stash when feeling uninspired or unmotivated. Think of it as social media for knowledge, for instance. You can share ideas and information rather than pictures or videos, and you're able to source all cards accordingly, organize them, and reshare them as needed. It's incredible how much information you can go through in small sessions, and it's a great app to get if you want to consume content that is valuable and useful. Minimal is a writing app that has a, minimal aesthetic, and it allows you to focus on what really matters, to take your notes individually or in collaboration with other teammates. It has a particularly unique feature called Note Lifetime, and that means that with Minimal, you can let your notes die. So basically, the app auto-deletes any notes that are inactive for a while to give you that ever-fresh new notebook feeling. Of course, this is a feature that you can disable if this causes you stress, and you can also retrieve dead notes and fully restore them as needed. The idea here is to practice non-attachment, even with digital information. Instead of having a cluttered note-taking app, you're only keeping what's essential and being more open-minded. You can also organize projects and to-do lists within the app and synchronize it with your calendar, as well as click and drag notes to reorder them and customize pretty much anything within the app. And of course, all your notes can be neatly organized within folders and through tags. There is also a solid search function, and then you can export everything via PDF in case you want to print something from the app. Teemo is a visual daily planner that allows you to create a visual schedule, and then it reminds you of that schedule throughout the day. Much like Sorted, it also operates with a time blocking logic, showing you what you should be doing at each given time, supporting reminders and checklist features, and a strong visual component with color coding and icons. Teemo also has a timer, having a specific view for task in progress, where you're able to see the subtasks you should be working on, as well as any other important details. You can check these subtasks as you go, and finally check the main task completed for the day. The improvement here is that you're able to use the timer view during progress, but then you're able to look at other scheduled tasks and events and start tackling them too, which allows you to pre-plan everything ahead and organize assignments and to-dos on the go. Overall, it's simple to use, but incredibly motivating, a perfect companion for studying. Stoic may not help you organize work and manage your time better per se, but it is an app that improves your productivity by improving your mental health too, reducing anxiety and grounding you for the day. It combines routines, health, and motivation features in one app and was created to be used in the morning and evening at least, prompting you to answer some questions and performing exercises. The app brands itself as a daily self-care journal, and it includes daily reflections, writing prompts. For instance, when logging into the app, you can write affirmations, do an emotions check-in, add photos, and even take notes or journal freely. It also provides more than 100 exercises for breathing, journaling, and even walking meditation. The idea is to add insights about what influenced your mood, why you feel that way, and why you were or weren't productive. Tell me down below whether there's any kind of productivity app that you've tried out before and you think that not a lot of people know about, so I can also check it out and review it for you in the future. And if you're into productivity, studying, and motivation, I highly recommend you to check out my videos, Thomas Frank's videos, Ali Abdaal videos on Nebula. Nebula is an ad-free streaming video platform built by independent creators, and it has a bunch of content on productivity, sciences, technology, history, and so much more. And if you're more into classic documentaries, the good news is your Nebula subscription automatically gives you access to CuriosityStream. And CuriosityStream has a big library of documentaries where you can learn so much more. For instance, you have a documentary called What is Reality?, where neurologist David Eagleman reveals how our brains piece together reality and what we can do to expand our perception of the world around us. You also have documentaries on red pandas, rainbows, history, and so much more. If this sounds interesting, and believe me, it is, you can now access both platforms for a 42% discount, and that makes it $11.59 a year. So to access the discount and become a part of the family, click the link down below to start learning today.
We can pause there.
I hope you've enjoyed today's video.
Thank you. I was more concerned about the 5 apps. But anyway, I know that was a lot of information. I saw that there was a question. Was it Sheila? Has something in the chat? Oh, when people, can I read this out loud, Sheila? It says, what happens when people try to sabotage your schedule? They know your schedule. Well, there's this thing called no, and there's this thing called boundaries. And is there an echo, Kiva?
Yeah, I just took care of it.
Okay. I know that it may be easier said than done, but I'm speaking from firsthand, from going back to school, working, spouse, grandmother, all those dimensions, wanting to have a social life. And I began to assert myself because you know why? It was important to me. Or I would say, I can do it, but I can't do it right now. Or I would say, I have a class or a test or a paper to write, and this is very important to me. And just out of respect for me, I need you to either abide. I told somebody this once. I need, out of respect for me, I need you to accept where I am in my life and this important thing that I'm doing for myself, which is school. Now, it was hard at first for some, but they got used to it because I was consistent. If I said no, it was no. If I said I can do it, but not right now, or I'll get back to you later. It was a boundary, because you know why? It was important for me to finish. And I'm not, how do you say, not trying to be politically incorrect on those things, but whatever. But look, when you go back to school, it's sometime you're a little older, it take a whole lot of extra work. The information don't stay as it used to, right? It's, and especially if you can be young or whatever, but if you got a lot of different things going on, you already have a lot of anxiety about school. You don't need the extra stress of people who don't understand. And you know, something else I learned, that everybody can't go on this journey with you. Everybody's not going to understand your desires for self-improvement and personal mastery. And that's where we talked about routines and boundaries. And you would never think that you would have to tell someone that boundaries and about why going to school is important. You would think people like, oh, yay, good. That's excellent. But no, people don't think that way. And you have to remind them. So that's the intentionality that I was talking about. That is important that you advocate for yourself. I don't know. I think somebody else put something else in there, Kiva.
Yep.
Okay.
I think
Exactly.
Responded to your
And you know what? I'm gonna add this too. People gonna be mad. They be all right. They be all right. They get over it. But you'll be walking down the aisle graduating. That's how you gotta think about it. But since no one asked, and if anybody's curious, the Sorted has free trials. That app has free trials. Deep Stash is free, minimal, has a 2-week free trial. They have student discounts. Teemo is not free, but it is moderately inexpensive. I can't remember the price, so I'm not going to quote that. Stoic, the base app is free. So if you're curious, like the video ended with, try it out. Even if you try them all out just to see how it works, just try the free trial. Just make sure you don't, go beyond that. Even the ones that are permanently free, try them. Try the basic entry level of it to see how it works for you. Most of us, I'm not making any assumptions, most of us have some type of smartphone. I mean, now everything's smartphone, right? We're going completely digital, iPads, movable devices. And a lot of our lives, we store our passwords on there, all kind of stuff on there. So we might as well use it to be productive. That's what this productivity video was about, finding another tool that you can put in your toolbox to help you be successful here, to help you on your journey. Okay, so are there any questions about those apps that anyone would like me to elaborate on, or were they self-explanatory? I challenge you, as I said, I challenge you to try one of them. And let me know, email me, let me know if it was a flop or was it positive. Let me know, say something. So
Okay.
I know not to use this again.
Am I coming through pretty clearly?
You sure are. What's your name, young man?
Oh, this is Henry.
Hi, Henry.
pleasure
How
to-
are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. You
I
too.
have a quick question. So how long is this session, or I guess how many, like as far as number of slides, would it be okay if we were interactive with this, or do we want to be quiet to let it flow through?
Henry, listen, you on this call, buddy, make it work. Listen, what was one of the things I said? Talk to me. Don't have me sitting here just talking
All
to
right.
y'all. I'm
So,
glad to see some faces on here. Like I'm just.
All right, so it's interesting that we go into using productivity apps to achieve academic goals, when a lot of time tech is what's getting in the way of us being as productive as we can be. And so what I took from it was that tech can really help us organize what it is that we want to do. Just don't outsource all of your activities to tech services, and then therefore is hampering your productivity. And just like even here, step one, you mentioned about focusing on what it is you're studying, getting yourself in the proper mindset, and then taking care of time management. And those things there simply start with self. That's basically eliminating tech and taking all that out of your space and your place, so that you can actually get focused, be in the right mindset to learn, and then time management. So because that tech can always be just, every time that thing blings, we're getting a digital distraction. So to those that are going to use that tech, get from that organizational skills, and then put that away so you can focus on the deal. I was going to check out, but when you immediately touched off on mindset, it pulled me back in. I'm taking my final class, and I saw that, oh man, I don't really think that me learning the resources that's available through Thomas Edison is going to help me, because I'm wrapping up. But no, what this is more of a life course that can show you how to learn. Absolutely. Like, what is it going to take for us to tap into whatever the subject might be? You might want to be like me. I want to read faster, learn more, and all that. So these same skill sets are teaching me, even now that school is over, an easier way to learn things faster, create memories, and be able to recall all the information that I pick up. So good job, guys. I'm going to quiet down and let you continue.
No. Please don't quiet down. And to speak to what you're saying from an educator perspective, right? I have to instruct and guide and try to reach students on multiple levels. And one of the things about being a TESU learner is that we have students who are 18, 20, 50, 60, 80, right? So remember I said the toolbox. So you and I, not trying to say we up there together, but I'm going to go out there. Okay. So you and I may say, look, I'm gonna sit down with this book. I'm gonna write out a schedule. See, I'm a list person. I have a app on my phone, and I'm old fashioned. I got a planner. See, I use multiple measures, right? Sometimes I have a calendar that I condense kind of work projects and some maybe personal things, because so the timing, right? So to speak to what you said, this being an online learner, you have to reach multiple, right? Multiple learning modalities. Okay. Now, if you listen to the very end, because it was interesting that you said that lifelong, but you seem to be a very curious person. So if you listen towards the end of it, they added a little app about a curiosity nebula, right? So that may be something for enjoyment. Right? That may be something you do on your downtime, that you're curious and you want to learn about different subjects, right? Also, right? Also, or it's one of the earlier apps, she said you can turn off the alert so it doesn't interfere. And you, like you said, sometimes that can be overwhelming. I forget the other app. I think it was Deep Dash and Teemo, where you could pull information out of some of those cards for your research. So as I said, try one to see. Now, if it's too overwhelming, if it's too high, if it's if it's too high, if you're too hypersensitive to it, then throw it out. But remember, we said toolbox. The more tools you have in there, the more resources you have to set yourself up for success.
Understood. And that's where I was coming from. I think I'm going to end up downloading them all because I can always use more and more help. I just feel that for those who are kind of freshly starting with it, to understand what you're doing this for. Don't do it for another game to play or another digital distraction. Use it for more productivity and resource to help with your academic goals.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And you know what? One of the questions that we always get is coaches and mentors is students struggling. Help me to navigate through this Moodle. That is one of the once we get students past that barrier, most of our students are very successful. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I first started, I had so many meltdowns. I'm not going to tell you no stories. And I had to learn how to use it. I had to ask questions. I wish when I started, I think it was 2017 when I got my master's, I wish it was something like this. I could call somebody, email, say somebody walk me through it, give me a Zoom or team, do something, just help me. But as you said, you have to, like you said, it's that self-regulation, right? It's that desire, that intrinsic motivation that sounds like you have, Henry, to keep pushing forward and learning new things. And again, that's what this space is all about. There's going to be multiple avenues. As I remember when I started, I said there's going to be multiple pathways. There's no pathway that's right or wrong, but what we do need to have is multiple pathways in that toolbox. So when one isn't working, we can figure out what else is going to work. And that's, again, that intrinsic value, that intrinsic motivation about not giving up, which you sound like you got. So you're done, you're wrapping up, you graduating, what's going on?
Yes, thank you. I'm in the middle of my capstone. And so reason I was like, man, I better stick around because I'm writing a paper and a project rather was going to utilize 25 APA sources and all that. I'm like, that's going to do nothing but come in handy.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right.
I appreciate the feedback. I think there was another comment in the chat. That's right. Absolutely. Many things. Carol said, one of the challenges I faced was getting through long chapters of discussion prompts, working full time and taking more. Absolutely. Absolutely. Carol, I hear you. I'm right there with you. Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. Where are you on your journey? Are you done? Are you midway? Or have you learned any healthy tips to help you manage these multiple dualities that you have? Is she still there? Okay.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
That's okay.
You said you were asking where am I at this point?
Yes, ma'am. I was wondering.
I would say I'm 3/4 of the way there.
Okay.
But I heard your comment about being able to say, okay, I'm in class right now and I can't do or I can't help with that. Unfortunately, that was not my my road to take.
Okay.
Oftentimes, I've had to stop to I have 3 children, And at that time, like while they were in middle school and coming up in high school, there are times when I had to stop to kind of keep them focused. So it's taken me a longer time. And I just started back, during the pandemic last year to try to, as I say, knock this out.
Good for you.
But it's my desire to complete it. But like I said, that's the challenge for me. I work Monday to Friday, and there were times when I had to say Saturday, I'm in school all day. And thankfully my husband, he would vacuum and stuff without pulling my leg up on the chair. Well, I'm trying to study and get things done. So I'm gonna have to go at a slower pace.
That's okay.
We're back in the office on some days home. So like I said, that was the biggest challenge for me, trying to take multiple classes, read. So there were times I had to cut the corner, like focus on what was needed for the prompt, the discussion prompt. Then I had to backtrack to read everything just so I could get things in and get my work done. So, that's how I've had to handle it, most of the time, because even accounting, some of those chapters are very long. And trying to get through them. But like I said, there were times where I take a couple of days off from work and try to catch up, and I was able to stay on top of it. And
Well,
get
first, I applaud your perseverance.
Yes.
And I definitely understand where you're coming from. I remember when I started back to school, it was this other young lady in the office. Of course, she was in her late 20s, and she kept bragging, I'm going to finish my graduate degree in 2 years. And I would say, I was already feeling some type of way, because I'm older, going back to school. And then I thought to myself, the heck with her. I'm going to take one class at a time, and I'm going to do quality over quantity. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do a slow, steady pace until I get it done. So it's really not about perfection. It's about perseverance. And as you said, you came back and you're doing it again. But I want you to know that don't compare yourself to anyone else. Your journey is your own. This is your own unique DNA. It's not about what anybody else is doing. It is about what you can do to fit your lifestyle. So I applaud you for coming back. And I took a couple of days off too. I stole a day here, especially when I was behind. I would take a day off. I grind it out. And sometimes you have to do that. And that's really about those boundaries. If you have those days, and some days I will go to the library, just sit because it was too many distractions at home. But again, it's the same thing that, that Henry is talking about, just that intrinsic motivation to keep going and to do whatever it takes. But you're right. Yes. When you have children and you work, it can be very difficult to set boundaries and to tell people no. I get it. But sometimes we do have to say, I can do it, but maybe not at this moment. And if you have to take some days off to get your work done, to get away from, I used to feel guilty. I don't feel guilty no more. I'm not going to be there. I worked it. But I applaud you. I applaud you. I applaud each and every one of you for even taking the time to be on this webinar tonight and for offering some feedback. I really appreciate that.
All right. Thank you.
I want to say something to Miss Carol right quick, and I'm gonna try to keep this really, really quick so we can push on forward with this thing. All right, Miss Carol, it is commend you for having a family, taking care of job, and studying for self-improvement and all that. That is wonderful. We're going to name to you. So 3 things I'm thinking about right now with you is the when, the why, and the how. The when do you sit down and study is when you got your mind right and you're in the right mindset. Now you create the when, because that's when you decide to, like, I'm just going to take me a peaceful moment. Let me focus on what it is that I'm doing. So you create the when. The why is your motivation of why do I want this education to be able to do whatever it's going to provide for you, whether it be peace of mind, freedom, economics, whatever it might be, or I just want to accomplish this thing. The how is the methods that you're doing. What we don't get from school a lot of times is how to learn. We always talk about what to learn, what to pick up, but we don't get the how to do it. That's what a session like this here is all about. So when you want to put your mind at ease, you focus on your topic and you do it for, let's say, 20 to 30 minute bites. But when you do it in these sessions, make sure this is what you're focusing on. A lot of people tend to think that the mind can multitask. That is almost impossible to do because you can't do multiple things at one time. But when you focus on that one thing and you're doing it for short sessions, like 20, 30-minute sessions, you will remember so much more than you believe. So when this thing comes back, you'll see how, man, I really remember a lot more, because when you studied only that thing. So cut your sessions down to smaller increments, focus when you're getting it done, and only do that. And find that time in your day. Put it on your calendar and set time aside to do that thing. But go ahead.
No, go ahead, Henry. You take it, Henry. Did you
No.
watch my last webinar? I think you did, Henry. I think you watched my last webinar, because that's exactly what I talked about doing. You follow me, aren't you, Henry? Okay, I got you. All right. But it sounds like you have amassed a great amount of personal mastery, what I call learning, developing, appreciating, reflecting. Anytime we take on any project or challenge, we need to first diagnose. We need to what the problem is. We need to then design a strategy to fix it. We need to act on it, and then we need to go back and reflect. Did this work? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to do differently? And that's part of this toolbox, and that's part of setting a routine. And someone had put something in the chat. A young lady put something in the chat. Angie. Okay. Hey, Angie, how are you?
I'm great.
Did it, girl? Nursing, you getting your advanced degree? Did it, girl? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. How
I
are you
just started. So,
That's okay.
yep.
That's okay. That's okay.
I think it's going to be a challenge, but it's okay.
Okay, I saw that you
I'm
made
good.
some adjustments to your nursing schedule. You wrote in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, so you're understanding that whole making life adjustments.
Yeah, that night thing is not working.
Well, at least you found out early.
Yeah, that
And you
wasn't
know
working
what?
for me.
You may have to make a couple more adjustments
Yep,
when you
I'm
get
good.
into it. That's right.
It's going to happen, but it's okay.
And we're going to be right here. If you need us,
Thank
we're going to be right
you.
here. We're going to be right here.
Thank
Okay. All right. So Henry's pushing me along. Okay, next slide.
you.
All right. Real quick. We talked about this already. Make regular to-do list. You can use a productivity apps if you like. You can use old-fashioned. You use whatever works best for you. But have a plan in mind. I can't say that enough. You fail to plan, you plan to fail automatically. This is not willy-nilly. I hate to use that for vernacular, but some of y'all know what it means. This is something you can't just, you can't fly by the seat of your pants with this. There has to be some preparation. There has to be some thought, some intentionality to it. So think about that, please. You fail to plan, and then you're planning to fail. And that's not what we're here for. All right, next slide. You deserve to take some breaks. That's right. You cannot just go hours and hours without study. Your mind is going to shut down. It is going to be a waste of time. Take some snacks, take a walk. I usually go out around my street, just kind of walk around, come back, get some fresh air, just stand up and stretch. I got a little free app on my phone, just to kind of get my mind in the right place. I'm telling you, it is amazing. 1 to 5 minutes, 5 minutes. I used to think that was so corny. And then I started doing it, like just 5 minutes, decompressing and just centering myself and reflecting. I'm telling you, that fresh air does amazing things for you. Next slide. Okay. Some simple, I don't call them simple, let's use that word. Some really simplistic, free things that we can do. The mind is very powerful. Journaling, expressing ourselves, getting those thoughts out there. Okay. Meditation, mindset, even the journaling, remember I started out with a mindset. This is all about the mind. Where the mind goes, the body follows. It is the mind. Exercise, 30 minutes a day, walking up down the steps, just stretching. School is going to have to be a holistic approach. It is going to be another dimension of you that you cannot ignore. If you don't take care of it, it is not going to take care of you. So when we're adding another layer to our life, like Carol had mentioned, Sheila had mentioned, where am I going to make room for this? How can I avoid getting overwhelmed and stressed out? Take a few minutes. Take a few minutes to breathe. Just center yourself and focus. Get your thoughts together. I'm telling you, it works. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we're coming down to a close. And I used to think that this was so corny. I'm going to be honest and authentic with you guys. I used to think this was so corny until I had this instructor, Dr. Annie. I'll never forget it. She would say, okay, at the end of the class, y'all, we're going to do a mindful meditation. I'd be like, oh my God, like, can you stop talking? Can we done with this? And then after a while, I was like, oh, okay. All right. And then now I have an app on my phone, right? In between breaks, I go outside. When I'm in the office, I just calm. I center myself. Now, I use the free one. I'm not pushing this on you. Again, I'm not a paid spokesman. I'm talking about tools in your box that will help you to remain calm, to gather your thoughts, and to address anxiety that you may feel. And sometimes you may have to step away. And sometimes you may not have 30 minutes to go outside and walk around. You may have less than 5 minutes to get yourself together. And this is one of those techniques. So just this calm, just think about it, just breathe. You can close your eyes and center. Just be intentional about where you are. You can turn your cameras off if you like, it's entirely up to you, but I want you to just think about this for a moment. Just be in the moment. Go ahead.
Allow yourself to be still for a moment and start breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Don't worry about how loud your breathing is or if anyone can hear it. And there's no need to try and ignore any noise or distractions going on around you, or to try too hard to clear your mind. Imagine yourself as a rock in the middle of a stream. All the noise and commotion that may or may not be going on around you just washes over you without having any effect. Focus on your breath. Think about how anything that has negatively affected your day up until this point. And with each out-breath, you are simply going to imagine any unnecessary stress these events are causing you to feel just ease away. Breathe in and observe how you feel. Breathe out and feel it easing from your mind. Now, still breathing deeply, take a moment to visualize how you want the rest of the day to go. Imagine achieving any goals and successes at the end of the day and how that will make you feel. Create a mental picture of what that looks like and take a moment to play that out in your mind. Whenever you're ready, bring the exercise to a close and open your eyes.
See, that wasn't so painful, was it?
I like that.
See?
It's
See?
better than that app called Calm, with the water and all that, the
Yeah.
wind blowing and all that. This really gives you time to reflect on being
In the moment.
proactive with
Yeah.
how you really want to set your day. Oh, I like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. Couple minutes in the morning. Couple minutes in the
Wow.
morning.
Mhm.
Couple minutes in the morning. Just that whole meditation thing. It just allows you to get yourself ready, to get your mind in the right place. Okay, next slide. All right. Make room for flexibility. Do not be hard on yourself. I try not to tell people what not to do, but this is one of those areas where I say, give yourself a break. If you don't do something that's in your routine, adjust as needed and try it again. Try it again. That's the good thing about waking up tomorrow morning. Your new mercies, get another opportunity to try again. The routine does not have to be rigid. Remember persistence and not perfection. Just keep that in mind. Next slide. Okay. I want to leave you with these words. I want you to be inspired to learn every day. And together we can do this. We can do this together. We can thrive in and out of the classroom. Think about changing your mindset, believe in yourself, be positive, and enjoy this journey. Next slide. All right. I would like to thank you for staying the whole time and for the engagement. I really enjoyed it. You guys made it fun. If you guys have any other questions, any other feedback, anything you want to add?
What other subjects do you talk about? Do you just give seminars like this, like Zoom meetings?
I do. I do. I have a variety of webinars that I do, Failing Forward, Calm. I even have one on other apps about I did that in another thing, but learning apps, different modalities, best ways to achieve wellness. I'm really keen on that because I think it was a pivotal point for me. Because as I said, when I started again, I thought I was out of my league. It's not that I couldn't do the work. I could do the work. It was just all the other crap, the external crap that was going on. It was just so hard, right? So I began to be very nervous and very anxious. And I said, no, this can't be, because I'm doing something good in my life. So I need to sit down and figure out what I need to change up here to get this right. So I'm a big proponent of the 6 points of wellness. So I talk about that as well and how those things correlate together. We will, as Kiva sends out the webinars, you can also send me an email through the peer support or the information right here. And you can ask when we're doing the next webinar and what the topics will be. And I'll be more than happy to tell you, keep you in the loop.
Thank you.
And you can also, you got one key point, Ivanka, you can also meet with Ivanka one-on-one if you want, some additional tips to directing to any points that she's touched today. If you're really struggling in any portion, Ivanka is one of our 3 coaches we have here. We also have an English and writing tutor to help you. I know you're on you're almost there, Henry, but just in case, we do have a really great English tutor. And we also have a math tutor as well for any of those tricky classes. I know, when I graduated from TESU, I took, organizational leadership, and I had a math class and I was very confused, but as she said, I did wish something of this magnitude was around. So we do webinars, but you can reach out to us.
Absolutely.
I have a question. How do you feel about online classes?
Are you talking to me?
Both of you guys.
Well, I experienced both. I was traditional, right? When I first got my first degree. And then when I went back because of work and all kind of responsibilities, I tried the online modality. And I'm going to be absolutely 100% with you that the online was one of the most challenging things I had to adapt to. Because although TSU got it down packed, they've been doing it for over 30, 40 years, the online modality. As Henry alluded to, it was originally set up for really self-guided, directed individuals who could discipline and manage their time. Not saying that other people couldn't. It's just that learning online is you really got to be in it, because you're kind of advocating for yourself. You're doing a lot of the work yourself. Of course, through TSU, we have the mentors, and other places they call instructors, professors. And some of the stuff, I felt like, I'm kind of doing this on my own. But I thought, no, when I needed help, I asked questions. I participated in my classmates. But to answer me more specific with your question, I think that it is necessary, especially in today's society, because we have so many layers and so many responsibilities. I like hybrid. TSU doesn't offer that. Some institutions do, for some people who like maybe one session in and one session online. So it is a matter of personal preference for the individual. I think they both offer tremendous benefits, especially with the online learning, because you kind of go at your pace. You kind of do the work when you can. If you can't be at class every Tuesday and Thursday, then it's no harm against you, right? You do your work when you're supposed to. You just make sure you are abide by the deadlines. So I definitely believe that the online learning has a tremendous amount of benefits for learners. That's just my personal opinion.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sherry. I'm one of the coaches with Ivanka, and I want to add a little bit to what Ivanka said. For me personally, I had never taken an online course ever until TESU. And Henry, congratulations. I just finished up myself. I'll be graduating in September. So congratulations to you.
I'm jealous.
But I'm going to say that when you are trying to fit school into a multifaceted life, online is really beneficial, as Ivanka said. It really allows you have deadlines and you have to meet those, but it allows you more flexibility than a standard classroom, when you have to be there. Because I did both. Prior to Thomas Edison, I actually worked full-time, mom, grandmother, doing all of that and trying to make a 4:30 class when I got out of work and having worked all day. Your mind, back to Ivanka saying, getting your mind right, your mind after having worked in 8 hours and then trying to go to school, sometimes it just doesn't work. So that's where TSU is a huge benefit to me.
Good.
Thank you for the participation. I really, really appreciate it, guys. And I hope to see y'all on my next one.
One second here. I want to speak to Miss Angie for a sec, right quick.
Okay.
All right. So Miss Angie, this is what community feels like. And I'm sitting here in this class. Like I said, I wasn't going to check out because I didn't think it would be helpful as far as where I'm at, but it's been so beneficial. And I wish that I had this start when I started taking classes, and I'm going to leave you with a quick tool. So I'm reading a book right now, and it's called Limitless. You see it?
Yeah.
All right. So it's by Jim Quick. And if you find some time, it will definitely benefit you to run through it. I'm going to give you a quick deal, Miss Angie. You jot this down. So in here, he's using a method called FASTER. FASTER. It's an acronym. And I'm going to break the words down for you right quick. So the F is to forget. Forget what you think you know about that subject and go into it with a clean slate. That's why children are able to pick up things much better than adults, because they're all not coming in with preconceived ideas of what the subject means to them in their lives. So when you're taking these classes, you're starting in 2 weeks. Come into these courses, just forget the things that you think you know about it and come in here with a clean slate and get your mind right and come on in there. All right, the second part of F is to let go of the distractions. If it's not important for you right then, and if it's not urgent, put that aside. Forget the distractions and be ready to focus. The third thing in the F is to let go of your self-limitations. You can do this. Don't ever come in there defeating yourself thinking you cannot get this subject. You can't figure it out. I took Cal 1 and 2. The grades weren't the best, but now when I look at calculus stuff, I blow right through it because now I know that when I enter it, I come with the right mindset. Let go of what you think you know about math, or I'm a bad student. Forget the limits you placed on yourself. Come into that thing with open mind. That's the F. It's forget forget what you think you know about the subject. Forget any distractions. Put that aside, and forget that you even have any limitations. That's your F. In the A, you want to be active. Be active in your studying, be active in the body, be active in the mindset. Then the S, that stands for state. So you come in there with the proper state of mind, whether you got to get up, find that happy place, do whatever, jog in place for a minute, but make sure that you got the right body state. That's mental and physical when you sit down to do your studying. The E is for entries. Put things into a calendar, set time aside to do things. If you do not put it in a calendar, if you do not set a time to do it, chances are you will not get it done. Make time to study, make time to get into what it is you need to do. Set time aside. And the R is review. At the end of the day, you want to review what you've learned. And before the start of the next day, review again what you learned the day before you get started. Get yourself in the right mindset, focus, and go after it. So faster. That'll help you out a lot in these courses. And also you mentioned about whether online or in person, being really active in those discussions. Make sure you're reading through them, paying attention, and then having dialogue with the other students, because that sets that memory, because you have a level of connection now with the class and they get to know you. And then the last thing I'm going to leave this with you. Like I said, I'm just hearing this. I didn't even know this even existed, but knowing that you have a team of resources around you that you need to just reach out, put in for a session and set up a peer support session so that you can get ahead of things. Don't find yourself getting behind and struggling to your own resources. Get ahead and use the ones you have. So I'm just learning all this in today year old.
What are you graduating with? What is your major?
nuclear energy engineering technology. So,
Okay, that makes sense.
but yeah, I'm seeing this today and I'm like, wow. But see, the thing about it with me, what I don't do, take this session, close it up in a box and say, damn, that would have helped me in school. No, this is about to take me forward in life.
That's right.
So I'm cool with that.
That was
Thank you.
excellent. Thank you for
No.
that. I'll remember that
All
for
right.
the rest of my life.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
no,
I'll be in,
stop it,
I'll be in
stop it,
school for
stop
the
it.
rest of my life. So
That's okay.
No.
Remember, persistence, not perfection.
I don't.
Right.
I got
Oh,
it.
and one more thing. With learning, we learn not through consumption,
Mhm.
we learn through creation. So when you
right.
sit there and you're going through these subjects, make sure you're creating a place where this makes impact on my life. Then that way you'll create a
Mhm.
memory and you'll remember it. You
That's
can
right.
focus more and you remember things better. So don't think about it as consumption. And this goes for Miss Carol as well. It's not about consuming information. It's about creating a connection of that information in your life, in your motivated in whatever, in the things that you're going to do in life.
That's
So
right.
that'll
We
help a
expect to
lot.
see good things from you, Henry.
Oh, get out
I
of here.
expect to see you in the TSU Alumni Magazine,
right.
I expect the book.
right? I expect to see you in that magazine.
Thank you. Let me okay. TSU Alumni Magazine and a book.
Put that
How
on your
long?
goal.
How long did it
Look.
take you, Mr. Henry? How long did it take you?
Actually, it took me 2 years. So I started June of 2020, and I'm finishing up now. So the thing about it, I started taking 3 courses at a time, and that's what another place. I'm glad you asked that. Don't find yourself getting too anxious and jumping right into it to where you overwhelm yourself. I took 3 courses, but the courses I took was 1 in nutrition, 1 in leadership, and 1 in critical information. Now, critical information is going to be vital for you to go in there. What you're doing with that is you're learning how to consume information, how to pull that information out of the resources that you're looking at, and then how to find it, make it pertinent and fit. So critical information is a course I wish that every college student would have prior to even coming to college.
Yeah.
So that helps you how to find the criticality in the information and how to basically weed through websites. So you're not.
Yeah, I
finding
didn't have
yourself-
that. I had a traditional. I went into accounting. I was a whole accountant before this. Then I went into
All-
nursing
all of it
14 years
applies.
ago. So
everything
it's just
applies.
a little scary, being
is.
online. I went through college, like, in class and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's just sitting down and making sure no TV, no radios, no distraction. I find it much better for me to actually process that in my mind. I need to
Remember what
make
I
sure the
had on-
TV's off.
That's right.
all.
Have a dedicated space.
Yeah.
And
It sets the tone.
another thing to go with that, COVID has broken the brick and mortar.
That's right.
So now we're finding ourselves in virtual spaces,
Spaces.
and it's on us to capitalize on the tech and use it to our advantage to be as productive as we can in the space we live in now. Brick and mortar may be a thing in the past, or like hybrid may even be hard to pull off because people can't be at these places because we got life that demands us being there. Like you're working nights. How many classes can you go to if you're taking night classes? You can't.
I'm not taking no night classes.
I'm just saying.
I like
but
to sleep.
You're in a good place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, this was amazing. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you very much. And I hope to see you again on another webinar.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right.
Appreciate-
Have a good night.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate
right.
you as well.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.